queued up where the lobby is open, the mics are hot, and nobody is dodging. With us, a favorite joining us in the lobby today. He's going to carry us today. One and only Eli the Ninja Hensley, back from the grave. Where have you been, brother?
You know, just killing people in Halo, killing people in other games, just vibing.
Love that.
Queuing it with other parties, sorry.
Hey,
I'm back.
No, cue it up. I love that. We've seen you on Hard Stuck. You've done a great job over there. And then the next to his left, Davis Tadlock. Signature move. Oh, the grenade.
You gotta throw the grenade further away so you don't have to dodge it, bro. Like, come on.
And the newcomer on the show, Mr. Nick Thug Nasty Lavid. We love to have him. We love to see him. And I'm CJ, aka the Pathfinder. It's a great day to queue up and win some ranked games. So we're gonna rip and roar and to do that. Today we're starting with Clutch or Kick. Then we're gonna go around the league. We've had three just banger events go on this weekend between Call of Duty. We saw Major 3 in Miami where the 100 Thieves showed up and smoked everybody. But we saw some showings from Heretics and some amazing, that was an amazing event. It was good. There's a lot of cool things. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about VCT. The playoffs are happening right now. There's been some upsets on there. Crew is not as good as you thought they were. Okay? They're not as good as you thought they were.
Talking to yourself? Or
I'm talking to them. Talking to the people. People need to know. Crew, it's not good. And then last, IEM Melbourne, the Falcons, woo, coming out of nowhere, smoking some folks. And then we're going to end it with a showdown. We're going to show it down. But first, we got to jump into it. We got some Clutch or Kick. Nick, I'm coming to you. The old men gamers.
Yes.
They're Asian.
They are.
They're Asian old men.
You're almost there. You almost have the whole story before I could even sell it myself. The Mataji Snipers, an Asian Valorant team. Average age of them is about 67 years old. They're looking pretty good. Production, roll the clip.
Let's go. What a clutch.
And there we have it, the 4K. A little bit slower, you know, his reaction time isn't the best what it used to be, but CJ, what are your thoughts? Clutch or Kick?
I love this, Clutch or Kick. My dream is to be a retired gamer. I don't know if that's, this is like a new thing. I thought I would be the first grandpa to be the retired gamer to slay out, but ultimately this group beat me to it. These guys are awesome. I think what they're doing is cool. And I think gaming in your free time is something we'll always do, no matter how old we are. Eli.
Yeah, well, you know what? I say go back to the retirement home, go back to the shuffleboard, get off the video games. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's actually a clutch for me. This is so cool to see. It's so wholesome. Like, when I watch it, I'm like, man, I wish I could play games with my grandpa. Like, wouldn't that be dope? But he's dead, so that's probably going to be difficult. But hey, it's really cool to watch. The crosshair placement needs some work. I'm going to be completely honest, but hey, keep at it. You guys will get to Radiant eventually, right?
I'm going to intro. This is very wholesome. This is very clutch. It's very cool to see. If this guy was on my team, it would have to be a Kick. It was a great thing to watch, but like you said, the crosshair placement for me is what did it.
It was rough.
Oh, interesting. Go ahead, Nick.
Gotta clutch it up. As the oldest guy on the desk here, I love seeing people playing games still. Love every minute of it. Gotta clutch it up.
Do you think you're going to be this bad when you're 60?
That was not that bad. That was like...
It was, the process
No,
was
he's aiming
sound.
at the ground, my guy.
That's fine.
But the process was sound. Like the Sova dart was out. He revealed his next opponent. He picked a good corner. As soon as he sees the smoke, he walks inside it. Like, it was a well thought out play. Obviously, it didn't look super pretty. You know, it's not snapping like Giacomo out there.
But that wasn't the question. Do you think you're going to be
Hell no.
better than that at that age?
Hell no. Okay, so listen. it's kind of unfair if you grew up playing games because like you develop the muscular skills, like the fast reflexes.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't go fully away. Like I think you're still going to be solid when you get older.
I think all of you guys would still have like crosshair placement and movement and like sound strategy. Like I think those things are going to exist when you. So it's like maybe they picked up gaming older.
Right. They had to have, right?
Yeah,
Well,
they definitely.
It didn't exist when they were young.
Exactly, right? So like I think it's cool to think about like as grandpa, can we just like show the young ones like, yes, absolutely. That's my goal. That's my dream.
You know what, CJ?
What?
We are going to need a 1v1 against the Mataji Snipers versus Pathfinder. Somebody out there, set it up, get this man in a lobby and have
I
them
don't think it would be fair right
poo-poo on Mr. Pathfinder over here and just
How embarrassing
show
would
him
you-
what's up.
How embarrassed would you be to lose to a 67-year-old man in a 1v1?
I would let them win. I don't think that would be
Oh, that was horrible.
You don't beat your grandpa up. Like you're like, Grandpa, you suck.
You could. You could.
All right, we'll go to the next one. Clutch or kick. This one is, I think, mine from Mr. CJ. The Vitality team, they have a presidente. And that nope, this is not mine. It's somebody else's.
You're stealing my thunder.
No, go ahead, Davis. Take it away. Sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. Automatic, though. Automatic, the old CS2 or CSGO player, actually, sorry, I'm mistaking, for C9, has recently announced his retirement from CS for Counter-Strike 2 and has announced that he's going to be putting his energy and focus into golf. So basically, my question to you guys is, do you think this is a good thing for him or not? And I'll actually go ahead and start for this. I'm going to give it a kick. If he hasn't played much golf, I have. It is a lot more stressful than playing Counter-Strike. So I think if he's thinking that quitting Counter-Strike competitive and going to golf will be unstressful, he's got a long road ahead of him playing golf. So enjoy it, Automatic. I wish you the best.
You don't have to go. We can have Nick go next if you want to.
Sure.
Nick, go ahead.
I'm on the fence here.
Yeah,
I'm on the fence. Part of me wants to kick it because there's some decent confirmed money when it comes to playing Counter-Strike, and it doesn't seem like he was the worst at it, right? However, I'm not one to say don't pursue your dreams or pursue your passions. So I think just for the heart alone, I'm going to upside down clutch it. Just kidding. Right side up. We're going to clutch it. Pursue your dreams. Pursue your passions. Love everything about it. Play golf.
Is that like half point? And you upside down?
Yeah. It's a half clutch.
We do a half
Part of me
clutch.
wanted to kick it.
It's
but
like he almost, it was 1 HP, you know?
thought about it.
Man, I don't know what his plan is like, hey, we're gonna become like a golf pro, or if it's just like making content. Obviously, he's got a little bit of a brand around him, so I think that's cool. I don't love it. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I hate it. It's golf. Go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. We all remember Michael Jordan trying to play baseball. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? You play basketball. In this case, you play Counter-Strike. Just play Counter-Strike, man. I mean, maybe if he's like super good and he recognized that he's super good, like if he's won some local tournaments, maybe he's losing passion for Counter-Strike. Like, it kind of makes sense, right? It's a personal decision, so I don't think we should hold that against him. But generally speaking, if you've already found success in something, like it's a good idea to stay in that lane.
Golf is fun though, Davis.
It's pretty fun, pretty stressful.
It's very stressful.
If it
Yo,
was-
I've broken some clubs, brother.
That's what I'm saying. So we'll see once he starts hitting it a lot how he likes it.
So you know what this also sets up?
What?
Now Davis has to 1v1 automatic in golf.
In golf.
See? We're setting up all the 1v1s.
There you go,
around here.
all the 1v1s. Well, the next one of us is going to 1v1 the French president, who's supporting the Vitality team. I'm not even going to try and say his name because that would just do him a disservice. Production, if I'm wrong, there you go. Here's the tweet. You know, what's really cool about this, and we saw this with the Mongols, and this other groups, it's like when a country gets behind their team, that's amazing. The French president, I can't say his name. He's a nice guy. I've seen him in lots of places. And he's been, you know, you've seen him with Trump recently. He's been doing negotiations in different areas. But he supports this Counter-Strike team enough to make a tweet. He said, hey, you guys got the Grand Slam. This is amazing. We love this. The president supporting your Counter-Strike teams is very cool. Eli, what do you think?
I mean, this is an obvious clutch. I mean, for the president of your country to acknowledge the great things you're doing in a video game, that just kind of goes to show how far esports has come. That's why we're all here even able to talk about it with you guys too, right? And for the old folks, not just the snipers out there, the other old heads are recognizing greatness. So love to see that.
Davis?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a super clutch as well. It's really cool to see, people that really aren't even interested in gaming itself. Maybe he's not interested, his followers aren't interested. Being able to see that and see, oh, this team from France is really, showing national pride and bringing that recognition to us. I think it's really cool. Clutch for me.
Nick?
Clutch as well.
Boom.
I think he crushed it. That's amazing. One day, CJ is going to be getting tweets from Donald Trump about how good he's doing in video games as well.
Okay.
Clutch.
Super clutch.
Super clutch. This is very cool. We love it when the countries get behind the players. This is actually, for those who don't know, the French were like, hey, we're going to support Counter-Strike in a really big way, and they're going to make the best team in the world, and that's what they've done, obviously with the dominance of Vitality. So
To be honest, the French are very good at a lot of different esports. They've got top players in Halo, in Call of Duty, in Super Smash Brothers. I mean, the French are no slouches in esports.
what happened to League of Legends, dude?
I think there's some good League players too. I don't know. But I mentioned the ones that I'm familiar with. So
No, the Koreans are winning no matter
yeah,
what.
I mean, let's be real. The East is way better than the West at League.
That's right. Eli, give us the next one, buddy.
Yeah. So the one that I've got for you guys in Marathon right now, it's a hot topic. Aim assist on mouse and keyboard. Now, a lot of people consider aim assist a bad word, but what do we think? We'll start with Davis.
Give me aim assist. I think it's a good idea. I play keyboard and mouse. Anything that will make my experience even better.
Okay.
Nick.
Get it out of
Oh.
here. Kick it to the curb. It's just too strong. Like I think there's levels to it. However, when you have an entire hand being able to control that cursor, get it out of here.
I like this. There's too many noobs out there. Not everybody's amazing at games like you. Give the noobs a chance. They need a chance.
We're giving up participation trophies in competitive video games
That's
now.
fine. I mean, I don't think it should be in pro play so we can like differentiate. I think it's cool for the noobs though, and so I'm voting noob. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The whole point of putting aim assist on MNK is to compete with controller players who have a lot of aim assist. If it's a game with a lot of tracking, controller has a big advantage. I think the problem is it's too strong though. Right now, it's like a bit overtuned, but they just need to dial that down a little bit for mouse and keyboard. Because like Nick said, you got your whole arm to aim. You shouldn't need the same amount of aim assist as controller, but maybe just a little bit of help.
I like that take.
So then why'd you clutch it?
I mean,
I'm going to say if I was a
'cause, like,
controller player, I would be
aim assist-
picking this.
It shouldn't be gone entirely. It just needs to be tuned. That's all.
Well, it just depends. See, for me, it's like, are you having all the MNKs play in one lobby and all the controllers play in
No.
another lobby? And then
Well, it's like Halo, right? We've got all controller dominance, but one mouse and keyboard player that's pretty freaking good. He's got a little bit of aim assist, but not as much as the controllers. It's like a good balance, I think, in Halo. So Marathon maybe needs to learn something from the Halo environment.
there's just more noobs out there. There's just more. Give the
Marathon?
noobs, yeah, there's more noobs in every game than there are good players, right?
That's
Like
true.
we've always surrounded ourselves. I mean, we're within the esports space, but like within the top 1% of players. So like you're normally pretty good at games when you're in that sphere, and like a lot of people suck. Like the grandpas. You saw the aim of that bro. Like that bro needs some aim assist.
Hey, he got 4 kills.
you got a 4K.
I'm not saying he's.
When was the last time you got a 4K?
You think he gets a 4 kill every freaking
Yeah,
round?
looks like it. Did you see those glasses? It looked great. He didn't even get flashed. He saw straight through it.
That was
All right, we're going to around the league. We're gonna start us off down under in Australia with Steve Irwin. No, is it Steve Irwin? Steve, who's the?
R.I.P.
Is Steve Irwin?
Crocodile
R.I.P.,
Heck yeah.
man.
We miss you, buddy.
R.I.P.
I'm so sorry about
Screw
what
that
happened.
Stingray,
The
bro.
That
Stingray
was
beat
my
you
fault.
up, but that's okay. They're still celebrating you in Australia, and they're also playing some Counter-Strike. We saw the best series we've seen this year. I tell you what.
I tell you what.
The Falcons versus the freaking Vitality. Falcons showed up with the new Monacy, and guess what? He was a difference maker. Eli, tell me what you got from the series, man.
I mean, we couldn't have asked for more from the series. So we're all curious, okay, does Monacy fit on this roster? Is he worth the $2.5 million price tag? He kind of proved that he might be, because they didn't really have that much practice and almost took down the Goliath that is Vitality. It was just a banger series all around. It started off with Falcons getting completely decimated in game 1, and I was like, oh no, is this going to be another 3-0? But then they fight back in game 2. There's an overtime in that game. Going all the way to game 5, we had a triple overtime. Like, it can't get more intense than that. I actually fell asleep because it's 4 in the morning when it started. I watched the first game, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a shutout. Go to sleep, wake up, they're still playing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me rewind and watch the rest of it. It was a banger, start to finish. You guys gotta watch it.
Yeah, definitely a good series to watch. Ultimately, I'll just break it down for everybody. Vitality smokes Falcons in the first map, 13-2 on Inferno. Falcons take the next map, which is Dust 2, 16-12. Train shows up. Vitality wins 13-9. It was a close game, closer than that score would tell you. And then Mirage, the Falcons take it down 13-10. And then the nuke was actually the one that was overtime. There was lots of times in that game we thought the Falcons were going to be able to take it. But ultimately, Vitality with ZywOo, Apex, and Rops just showed up and they were able to win that series. What were some takeaways for you, Mr. Lavitt, on that one?
I think it was a lot closer than I personally was expecting. I thought Vitality was going to run away with it, and like I was saying last week, I thought Spirit was going to be their best test. I didn't think Falcons had enough, to what Eli was saying, practice and gameplay beneath them just yet. But with such a long tournament this week, they had a lot of adversity as well. Like, they had some good games, they had some bad games. They snuck out some wins, but I think Falcons might actually be the team that's going to take down this Vitality team.
Eventually. Davis, what about you?
Yeah, my main takeaway, kind of same as you guys. I mean, I think it was huge for Falcons to be able to bounce or to rise to the occasion, I guess would be the better way to say it, in this tournament and really show up. Main takeaway from me, though, from Vitality, I want to say Vitality is the final boss of Inferno when it comes to Counter-Strike. They do not lose. They're 12-0 this year so far on the map. And the most rounds that they've lost in a single game was actually to Falcons earlier in this tournament, and it was 8. They haven't lost more than 8 rounds on Inferno for the entire year.
That's insane.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm not playing them on Inferno. I am picking to play them on Mirage, though. They haven't done well on Mirage, and they're kind of 50-50 on Nuke right now, right? Like, they have been winning them, but it's always close. Mongols beat them on Nuke. Maus, I think, beat them. It was on Mirage, and then there was another one that they beat them on. I can't remember what map that was. Dust 2, maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
I want to talk about Apex's leadership, man.
Yeah.
He was so emotional throughout that game. Whether if they were down, he started yelling at them. He's pounding on the desk. He's like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah.
And like, he kind of woke up the team. You could tell they were down 9-8, I think, when he had kind of a crash out on cam, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then the team just won the next 4 or 5 rounds in a row. And then he starts, getting hyped up. So it was just, I don't know. I love to see that. Apex, one of the oldest players. I want to say he's like 32. So for him to still be doing it and to be like kind of the force of energy that like pulls Vitality back up when they are down, it's hard to beat that team.
Davis?
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a player on the Falcons that's worried for their job right now?
I do. I think Magis is shaking in his boots. I think if you look at it all together, for the whole series, he was actually minus 19. Him and Kixon, I think both are kind of on the hot seat, in my opinion. I think Tessus actually really showed this tournament that he deserves to be on the team and that he can play with the best of the best. But for me, it's Magix that I look at as the person that they're probably on the hot seat.
I agree. Go ahead, Eli.
I don't think they should drop anybody, to be honest. I think that Magis played completely fine. He clutched a lot of rounds. He had some 1v2 clutches for round wins. I know that like leading up to this turn or to that match, he was shaky and like had some bad series, but like, if he's playing his best against Vitality, that's a sign that like maybe you should keep this guy, give him another chance. And all said and done, I mean, minus 19 across 5 matches. I mean, some players in the game had over 100 kills. So it's like minus 19 is not even that bad. That's like what, minus 4 on average per game. Plus he's the utility guy. Like, it's not like he's the main slayer. He's not the entry fragger. He's not the op guy. He's just a supporting role. And I think he did a fine job.
Yeah, couldn't agree with Eli more on this. It's like there's 2 things. A, we're talking about a team that actually took Vitality to the limit for once, the first time in 3 or 4 months that we've seen somebody take them to the limit, which was amazing to see. And we're over here talking about roster changes. And then 2, we're talking about a guy that went minus 19 or minus 4 over 5 maps that went the distance in a triple overtime game 5 against the best team in the game right now. We just need to we need to duplicate this 10 times over. No roster changes. Nobody played bad. It was a great series from start to finish.
I agree. I think they performed very well for like.
Now he's agreeing. He just.
Well, I agree. They performed really well for, like you said, they're a brand new team. I just think, I mean, Magic's performance goes back many tournaments, and I think if Magic could have really improved his round or his play in just a couple of rounds, especially on Nuke, they would have won this with no problem. So that's where I don't think they're going to go through with the roster move just yet because, like you said, the team is brand new. They just made it to the grand finals, played the GOAT team right now. But I think if they do continue on this trajectory, Magic's is the one that's on the hot seat for me.
I just think it's, and again, I'm not saying you're blatantly wrong, but I just think there's a lot that goes off stat. Kind of to what Eli was saying again, and I'm not just riding and glazing Eli here a little bit, but there's so much that's off stat that you can't see unless you're in the game and you understand what's going on of who's necessarily being the utility player, who's entering the site first. He may not win his trades every single time, but he's the guy that's making the openings for the entire team. So I think for some of these situations, it's easy to look at stats, but stats shouldn't be the only thing that we look at.
Interesting. Yeah, I think for me, one of the things that also happens with this Falcons kind of upgrade, I think they do have a little bit more upside. They've only been together for 2 weeks. They haven't probably gone through all their strategies, so their depth of map pool is about to expand as they have more practice and time together. I would disagree with you guys, though. I think Magic sucks. I don't like him. I don't like him on this roster. I think they should drop him and pick up anybody from maybe the broken G2 roster. Maybe you snag somebody from Eternal Fire to pop up too. So I think that there's some players out there that could actually finalize this roster and give them a little bit more upside, in my opinion.
It also just does, like, watching them to me, like, I think Magic's just looks extremely unmotivated playing compared to the other people. Like you were saying earlier with Apex being very emotional, like, Magic's just never seems, which obviously it's good. You don't want to seem affected on stage, but, like, at some point, you kind of should be affected if you're consistently negative in every game. Like,
yeah. I don't know. And this also downgrades the Mouses of the world for me, the Mongols, Spirit. You know, Falcons easily have taken the #2 spot after this event, and they're kind of a scary team when it comes in that spot. For me, maybe not for you.
I mean, you guys are acting like this is the first time Vitalities have been taken to the distance. Mouse took them to Game 5 in the last tournament. So, I mean, Mouse is looking pretty strong. We didn't see the same Mouse in this tournament, and Falcons did beat them, obviously. So, I don't know. I think that Counter-Strike is a fickle game at times, and it's going to come down to like who's on fire. I think that Mouse could absolutely overtake Falcons and come back in the next one. But Modesty looks like a freak of nature, I'll be honest.
He does look like a freak of nature. Okay, cool. Let us know. Subscribe. We appreciate it, okay? We got to get Davis lunch. Look at this man. He needs a cheeseburger, a steak. We got to get something on him. He's looking real tiny. Go ahead. Push it over to their director. Go ahead. Give Dave. Look at this man. He's so skinny.
Well, he's also flexible.
If you just take 1 second, you like and subscribe on the video, we can get Davis a steak dinner, and he might actually fill out and then be able to hit the golf ball further.
Maybe. That 1v1 against automatic.
Yeah,
incoming.
He's got to get the train. Okay. Call of Duty Major 3, 100 Thieves, take it. But there was a lot of good matches. I mean, we saw an Ultra and a Surge go to a 1-point hardpoint difference on Vault. It was crazy. There's just all kinds of insanity going around in the league. Mercury showed up. He played for the Ultra this weekend. There's so many different directions we can go with this conversation. Eli, what was the standout thing for you, man?
I mean, it's got to be Mercules. Mercules was the story of the weekend for me. I mean, this kid never played a single pro game before, and from the jump, very first game that he plays in pro, he's already going positive. I want to say he started on like a 4-0 spree, maybe a 5-0 spree, and the kid just didn't look scared. He wasn't intimidated by the moment. Of course, he's got a great cast of teammates to like support him in this endeavor. The rest of Ultra are insane at the game, but it's the first time that he's like just injected into that place, and he looked like he belongs. So I think that teams like Optic might be looking at him a little bit differently and saying like, hey, maybe he's the key to our struggles. But to be honest, if I'm Mercules, I might not go to Optic. I might wait for a better opportunity.
Mercules, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I think we saw Insight fall off a little bit too when I was watching those matches.
So my theory on that is they tried to get Mercules to play like Insight normally does, and then Insight's trying to play like Beans would have if he was there.
Yeah.
So Insight out of his comfort zone, Mercules taking over the typical Insight role, and yeah, you're right. Insight was looking kind of rough in some of those games.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra still showed up for it. It's not like they had a poor event. I mean, they made it all the way to the fourth round in the elimination finals, lost to the Surge eventually in a close match, but ultimately, it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily agree with you in the fact, Eli, and I'm kind of going to challenge this. Like, it's one event, right? It's only a top 5 finish in some ways. You know, they're there, but they're not there kind of thing. Insight didn't really perform, and I think that like maybe if Insight performs, it's a different story because I think they need to go further because I think you can have a couple good games in the CDL, right, against some teams that aren't necessarily amazing. I mean, who did the Ultra play, right? They
beat Miami, who was one of the hottest teams of the week.
Well, they did, but they also played the Boston Breach before that. They played the Minnesota Rocker. They played the Gorilla Mates. Like,
yeah, they went through the gauntlet. They beat a ton of teams.
They played 3 crappy teams, 2 of which that aren't going to make champs.
I'm not saying he's the best player in the game. I'm just saying he belongs in the league. Like, he made his case.
Yeah, I want to kind of bounce off that. I think he definitely made a case and deserves a spot in the league. And I was actually really happy to see it because earlier in the year we had Envoy talk about how he didn't think there was any competitive players that were in Challenger. I think Mercules came right on stage and showed him, hey, we can play with you guys. So really happy to see that. 1.08 KD for the tournament, so great performance for him. I mean, he was one of the top KDs in the whole thing. Also, in the listen-ins, his comms were so good. He played his role perfectly. He didn't overextend when he didn't need to. I think it was a tryout, and he'll be on a team very soon.
Anything to add on Mercules, Nick?
No, he looked really good. I was glad they picked up where they left off. A top 4 finish out of Ultra looked really good, especially playing with a guy who's never played the league before.
Hey, all right. Three against 1. I'm not a believer, Mercules.
Wow.
I need more from you, brother. Okay, here we go. There's some teams that aren't going to make champs, and I have a list here. The Gorilla Mates, Cloud9, Rocker, Falcons. I think Optic and Miami Heretics kind of squeaked away on this one, and the Boston Breach, where they're not really as close to the cutoff. But those are the 4 for me that I think probably not going to make champs.
Yeah, this is, I mean, Falcons are obviously not going to make champs. I'm pretty sure if Optic just win 2 more series in the quals, like Falcons would have to, even if Falcons won every match and the next 2 lands, the next land, they would not make it. So, yeah, Falcons are out. I think Cloud9 also out.
Yeah.
Gorilla Mates out. And then it's like the rest are kind of playing for that spot. I think that if Optic and Rocker play each other, the winner of that might leapfrog the other. I don't know. It's a
30-point swing. It's 115 for the Rocker and 145 for Optic.
So they got to win a few. But,
yeah, it's...
Rocker haven't really shown
no ice.
anything yet.
No ice.
It feels like they won a single round 11, game 5 in the quals, but they didn't do anything else besides that. But Optic isn't doing shit either. Let's be real. I think that maybe if Mercules replaces Sky, this team could look a lot better though.
So Davis, eye test for Optic right now. It's like
I got him out.
Yeah,
I got Rocker eventually moving over him. I think the formula that Rocker has is better than the formula that Optic has, in my opinion. And I just think the 3 young guns for Rocker are really going to be able to form around the plan Kenny has for them, and I think they're going to rise, and I think they'll end up qualifying.
Interesting. I don't know when those guys play each other next, but when they do, it'll be a big deal.
Huge deal. I think it's also perfect for the narrative that's being created of dropping Kenny and him coming. And in my opinion, those are the 2 teams that we're really looking at for that last spot. I think the other, C9 Falcons and Gorilla Mates, I think they're pretty much
kind of cooked.
out. Yeah.
That's right. They can go pick up golf.
Yeah, they can. Exactly.
That's when it makes sense.
That actually makes sense for a few of them. Honestly, I think Optics still got a shot. They lost to Atlanta FaZe in the lower, and awkwardly enough, the hottest round 1 team that you never want to play in Boston Breach dropped them to lowers. They won their matchup in lower against Vegas Falcons. Hit or miss on how you expected that to go, given some online results recently. But then they run into an unfortunate Atlanta FaZe team in lowers, and they fall out there. I don't think they're as bad as everybody expects. Skies isn't looking as good, could make a team change, but I think they're still going to hang on to that championship spot. I don't know why we're all trying to kick them out so early. We'll see.
I think they probably will hang on by a thread, but it's like,
it's going to be close.
I think they're going to make a team change.
They're just not worth rooting. They don't look good.
It's like, even if they do make it, they're still going to get 8th in champs
Yeah,
anyways.
it's like a
we're
last
just talking
place
about them
thing.
because they're Optic. Let's be real.
Yeah.
No question about it, but I think...
You better put some respect on Formal's name, okay? What the heck?
I always do. I always do.
We love Formal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, that team just doesn't look good right now. I mean, Bruce doesn't look like himself. Shotzi is making plays, but they're not enough. I mean, the dynamic duo of Hook and Shotzi are there, but they're not. It's just not enough, right?
Yeah.
Skies is not a big difference maker. He's never going to be a playmaker on that team, so I don't know.
Well, that was the thing when we were talking about Mercules having a 1.08. Shotzi had a 1.1, right? He was top 5 KD if we're talking about KD and those sorts of stats.
Yeah. But you gotta watch the actual play. And for me, that's what it is with Optic. Like their players are just so out of touch with each other. And like there was one specific play I can remember on Vault that like who just dives down underwater for no reason. Like I can't explain it right now, but just terrible plays in my opinion. They don't really play for the objective. They play a lot for themselves, I think. And so I just see other teams passing them.
Yeah, I don't know. Some interesting names here. I have. We had some good events for Heretics. Nice home event. Super definitely showed up. They made a run through this bracket.
They had a super hard strength of schedule too. And teams
they did.
Played.
Yeah, look who they played.
Ultra, Thieves, FaZe, Ultra again.
Yeah, I mean it's just like they ran into the gauntlet of teams on the hard side for sure. And they took Ultra on that elimination round 4 to a game 5 and lost on a dealership, right? A dealership that they were undefeated on too. So it's wild to kind of see. They had a good run at a home event. I don't know if the crowd was really on their side.
They look really strong. I think they're without a doubt top 4 in the league right now. I think they are proving that they're not a slouch in the league. Why are you shaking your head? Why don't you don't?
No.
Did they not just finish 4th?
No, it's still it's
Optic's gonna win.
Oh,
The Heretics don't look great.
No. I'm not saying that they don't look. I'm not saying that they don't look great, but there's been 3 majors so far. Atlanta FaZe, second place 100T. Second event, Atlanta FaZe, Surge. Third event, 100T, Surge. There's been 3 events and only 3 people have scraped the top 2.
So you're saying that Ultra is the 4th team and not Miami. So
correct.
I mean that's the only argument. It's just between those 2, right?
Bring Beans back, and then they're the obvious 4th team.
What?
What do you mean? What?
You can't lump Hercules and be like, bring Beans back, and it's good.
Well, because they already said that they're not going to keep him. He's going back to the bench, or he's going somewhere else. And Beans online with Toronto, and over the past couple of majors and minors, Toronto has looked really good. They've been top 4.
I would agree that's the top 4, and then I have Miami as the next team right out.
So 5th. Yeah, I don't know. They're clearly 4 or 5.
They're right in there.
They're in there.
But I think there's tiers. I think it's Atlanta 100T, it's Surge and Ultra, and then Miami
Toronto,
and
Miami.
Miami trying to get into that.
Yeah.
They're trying to get into that second tier.
FaZe has cleared all these teams by 80 points.
We're not. Nobody's saying they're better than FaZe.
No, where'd that come from?
Okay, we were throwing all these names around the top 3 or 4. I hadn't heard some Atlanta FaZe. Yeah, they had.
The tier 1. It's the only people that have won majors and minors. It's them too.
If your name's Dylan Sanat on good old Skill Diff for hanging out with Pat over there, I mean, it's like this man is saying that the Atlanta FaZe has given up.
No,
they're not there anymore.
You want to hear my take on Atlanta FaZe?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I do.
Atlanta FaZe are playing the long game. They did not go to this tournament with the intention to win this tournament. They went to this tournament with the intention to get better at the maps they've been struggling at, which is evident in their map pick bans. They're picking maps that they typically struggle on. They didn't care if they won this LAN. They want to win champs. That's all they care about. And I think they actually have a solid process that's not common across other esports. Across other esports, they're going to be a little bit greedy and win everything.
I've heard of this strategy a lot recently of trying to throw and get better at maps that you're not good at. Isn't that what scrimmaging's for? Like, why are we doing this?
You don't get the same experience in scrims and tournament. You know this, you're a Halo coach. Nobody tries in Slayers online. Slayer plays totally different on LAN. So I think Search and Destroy is the same thing in Call of Duty.
Okay.
I don't even know
I'm about
scrim searches and
no, they really
usually don't.
No, it's hard points and controls
because it doesn't play the same as tournament. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I'm with you. Yeah. But FaZe did not have a great event ultimately, and that could be because they are golfing.
Limit testing.
I think they'll be right back. I'm right there with Eli. I mean, FaZe is the only team that I look at that genuinely I just know when champs comes around, they're going to be ready to compete and they're going to be one of the best teams. It's just always has worked that way. Atlanta FaZe is always the dominant team. They show up when they need to. They'll be back for champs.
I was saying the same thing y'all were saying before this event, but I don't know. They didn't pass the eye test this event. They didn't look like themselves.
Look at the data. They picked all their bad maps. They're still losing their bad maps, though, which is a problem.
That is a problem. You got to win. Yeah.
They got tape to study, so I think they'll come back stronger.
That's true.
You got to be Z and Sim.
All right. And ultimately, the one we did leave out of this, congratulations to 100 Thieves. Way to go, Nade Shot. We love you, buddy.
Hydra and Scrap are insane.
Until we talk about VCT.
Oh, I mean,
Well,
hey.
Oh yeah, he had a stressful day.
Well,
Nate shot.
I will say that the 100 Thieves trophy room will look cool with that Miami Heretics trophy
a
inside
dope
of it.
trophy.
It's a dope trophy.
best trophy I've seen in a while.
It is a great trophy, but I don't know if it will be next to the Valorant trophy. And we will go to Valorant. We had some Valorant playoffs for the Masters. Nick, there's a lot of directions we can go with this.
Yeah, where do you wanna go?
conversation. Where do you want to go? I mean, the first thing I have here in my notes is that MIBR looking real good and Crew looking real bad.
Yeah, I think Crew had an easy group stage. I think they were a little bit overinflated in their record there. They caught Sentinels sleeping and then got some easy wins out of 100T and some other teams in that group and was able to secure them that top spot. And then they fell in round two of winners since they had that first round bye, and then they fell right again in losers as well to EG. So it's just, I think they were a little overseeded just due to their group stage. So I never thought they were as good as they were, but I think everybody, and I think the story of the tournament so far is Aspas being so good on MIBR. It's like he's the guy to watch out for right now, and I don't think anybody wants to play him.
Yeah, Davis.
Yeah, not surprised at all. I mean, MIBR team I've been big on, all split. Aspas returning to his throne, in my opinion, as the best duelist in the region. I truly believe that. He was in years previous. Last year kind of fell off. He's back again. Cortesia also playing great. Another thing I want to point out about this MIBR squad, though, that's actually like astounding to me. On Icebox, they're undefeated, but they win 85% of their attacking rounds on Icebox. 85% of rounds on any side is a great stat to be winning.
Agree.
So
yeah.
Crazy.
I just saw that the other day, and I thought that was absolutely insane, so I had to say that.
That's wild. Yeah, no, it's a good stat. Eli, actually, I'll start this one.
Go for it.
I gotta talk to somebody. Can I get a solo cam here? Mr. Patrick Hollifield sat right where you're sitting, Nick. He sat there on Thursday. You're right there. And he looked at me and he said, CJ, Sentinels or America's team. And I looked at him and I said, Sentinels are bad and they're not going to do anything. And guess what? I am eating a poo-poo sandwich now because I was wrong. Sentinels look pretty good. I'm telling you what, it was a great series to watch when they played G2 and took them down. And now they get to play against MIBR. That's wild, bro. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. Sentinels obviously should be respected for their win over G2. I do think that G2 still play through the lower bracket and they win the whole thing, though. I think that they come back, they get the run back against Sentinels after MIBR beat Sentinels. G2 are then going to win that, go to grand finals, and they're going to win the grand finals. That's my take. That's what I expect.
I like that. I still have G2 as my pick that eventually goes out as the third team. Definitely surprising, though. I did not see them losing to Sentinels. Sentinels definitely a team that is capable of beating them. They're a tremendous squad, but I just didn't see it happening. But yeah, I think G2 will eventually come out of this lower side as well.
Yeah, and then the other surprise in here, EG makes the run, takes down, takes down Cloud9, Crew, and now they get to play against G2 for the spot, for our number 3 spot that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, EG, we were asking a couple weeks ago when they decimated Crew, like, is this real or were Crew asleep? Clearly it was real because they did it again. And then they also beat, who was it?
They beat Crew twice.
And Cloud9.
They also beat Cloud9, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I think that they're definitely better than people gave them credit for. But I think they're going to have a tough match against G2. I think they're going to get absolutely exposed by G2, personally.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think EG had an easy route here with Cloud9 and the over-ranked Crew. So I think, I personally don't think this one's going to be close. I wish it was. Again, still a big EG fan. So I'm hoping for the best, but I think G2 is going to take this one an easy 2-0 and in the quickness. But back to what you were saying about Sentinels, real quick.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bad. I just think they're I would almost say they're the Boston Breach. Like, they could get really hot and they could get really cold, right? And I think they got hot against G2 in the upper finals, and I think they're going to cool off again, even though, however, I do think they are NA's best hope going into Valorant Masters. So I don't know. I'm all over the place with them. They have the talent from top to bottom. They are the team that should be able to perform at the international stage. However, we saw at the beginning of the year, they weren't the team to perform at the international stage. so we need it to be somebody else. But hopefully they could get a hot streak and ride it here. But I have to agree with Eli too. I think that G2 is going to come out of the lower and take the whole thing.
Interesting. Yeah, G2 almost didn't make it. They played a great series against 100 Thieves. And 100 Thieves is like one gunfight away from winning that game. It was close, I tell you what, on Lotus.
Yeah, G2.
Not Lotus.
Pearl.
Pearl.
G2 very shaky through the playoffs, which is something I didn't see. I mean, I said last week I didn't see any of the teams from Group Alpha even touching them and going to Game 3 in both matchups. So really shaky. Another thing I wanted to say for EG, we said a couple weeks ago, why is Ye not playing Jet? Ye switched on to Jet 4 games ago. They're 4-0 since then, and he's been insane positive in every game. So
I've seen a little meta switch up in the middle of this tournament here with Jet coming back a little bit more.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that aggressiveness getting in the sight. Well, we'll see. We got a couple more matches coming up this week. Maybe see some Valorant in our pick'ems on Thursday. But yeah, it's been a good time. There's been some good events, some good gaming to watch this week, and I tell you
Great
what,
gaming.
it was great.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up too. We got the biggest Smash tournament ever. Literally the biggest Smash tournament ever is going to be next weekend. I'm going to be glued to the screen watching that. 84 of the top 100 players in the world going to be in Kagaribi, so in Tokyo,
Where?
Japan. The tournament's
Say
called
it one more-
Kagaribi.
say it.
Kagaribi.
Okay. Kayasuki.
Can you spell that for me?
Kyosuke is how you say that kid's name, by the way. Anyways,
That's what it said on the video.
It
That's
did.
how he did the
We did.
video.
We watched-
Yosuke. Yeah.
We watched the video. He did look pretty good in their academy match this past weekend. So
He's a good player for the Falcons for sure, yeah.
yeah, get out of here, Magix. This kid's coming. Kid's coming up. He's right behind you.
Sorry.
All right, that's enough talk about Valorant. Let's go into the showdown. Eli, I want to get the temperature on the current state of Marathon. We've seen it over the last 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on with that game.
temperature-wise, feels a little bit lukewarm at best, maybe even a little bit cold. A lot of people aren't getting alpha codes, including myself. I've filled out the survey multiple times. I've been a longtime Halo and Bungie supporter, and they're not sending me a code. Now, granted, I'm not taking it personally. I know that they just stopped sending out codes, but that's kind of silly, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want more people to play your game. Right now, they're kind of gatekeeping the codes. Only a select few are playing it. Everyone's watching Dr. Lupo play the game. He was a tester himself. But, I mean, the game looks cool, but it's definitely one of those games that I don't think it's going to appeal to anyone that's not already an extraction shooter fan. It's just hard to get into that genre if it's not your thing.
How are you going to gatekeep Mr. Bungie himself?
Bro, I got tens of thousands of hours in Halo.
I mean,
Give me a code, man. I can give you some feedback about it.
He wants a little special treatment. it
yo,
sounds like.
I filled out the code. I didn't hear nothing back neither, so I don't know what's going on.
I feel like
there.
you just got to hit up Tim. Tim can't get you. Tim can't slide you a code.
Well, part of it is like
Maybe. Maybe.
part of it is we are watching Lupo play this game, right? And it has had a lot of bad press around it, which like I couldn't validate, right? Like only people that have played the alpha could validate, and so it's an interesting position to be in. Davis, you play Tarkov, a lot of extraction shooters. Would you play it?
It hasn't passed my sniff test, I have to say. It just it looks a little bit too. When I think of extraction shooter for me, I really like the realism of Tarkov, and I love that. And so when I look at Marathon and it looks a little more like cartoony and everything, it doesn't catch my eye. But I haven't been able to play it, so I will try it to see if I like it. But obviously, haven't done it yet. So
There you go. Where are you gonna get that $40, dog?
I don't know.
You gotta like and subscribe. Come on, he's gotta afford the game. He can't right now. He needs a steak and a.
I was gonna say dinner and the game, please.
Take this man out.
I don't know what comes first, the steak or the game.
Give me the code first.
That's funny. That's why.
Yeah, we'll worry about the food after.
Okay, Nick, talk to me. EWC is coming up this summer. We're looking at a lot of titles over a 2-month span. How do you feel about it?
No, it looks like it should be a lot of fun. However, I don't know if I'm a fan of the whole EWC concept as a whole. 2 months of games, going to see a lot of high-level esports action, which is going to be great for the scene. Going to inject a lot of money into it short term, but I think long term, it's going to overinflate the economy and cause a lot of people to lose their jobs. It's going to put a lot of undue stress on orgs. Even the money that they'll receive in coming back from EWC and their players and teams winning, I think there's going to be a lot of salary expectations that are in the tens, 20s, thousands of dollars a month for certain teams that they're not going to be able to support over the long term once this does end up coming off the table. So it's a nice boom, but I think the recession side of it isn't good for the long-term status and competitive scene of esports.
Well, I'd like to go and see it. It is, I mean, you don't have to spend like $3,000 on a flight plus hotel to go over there. So it's not really that accessible for a lot of folks, and taking the time off. You know, you kind of have to have a little bit of a position to be able to do something like that. And so it's like, it's one of those things where like, I think as Americans, it might be hard to go and do and participate in. But ultimately, it is cool to see that many games. But like, there are some games in there where it's like FC, you know, we're playing football club or whatever over there. Like, I guess, but it's just like, are we legitimizing esports by putting $1 million into them for no reason? I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's interesting. It's like a total of $70,000 just in the prize pool.
Oh, 70 million.
70 million.
70 million, yeah.
70 million. There's a few extra zeros there. My apologies. However,
Numbers are hard.
it is like, I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing to have some cash injection. Esports as a whole has struggled with cash in recent times. But I think you're right. It will cause some weird situations with orgs. What I'm mostly concerned about is it making everything a lot more top heavy.
Yeah.
It's like, just getting invited to this thing, you're guaranteed to make a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're just on the border that you don't get to go, you're missing out on a huge opportunity, and it feels really bad. You're going to have way less money. The people that are making all this money can probably practice more because it's going to be easier if you're just well funded. So I don't know. It's interesting. I like the jobs that people are getting. I'm hearing some crazy numbers that my fellow casters are making for EWC. So good for them. But you're not going to make that money anywhere else. So
Interesting. I'm going to come to you, Davis, next. And we're going to talk G2 for a second. Yo, there was a podcast with, I think it was the COO of G2, maybe the CEO, I don't know. But basically, like, talking all kinds of craziness. And that roster is in shambles. Yeah, that roster's in shambles right now based off of what happened with the departure of Nico originally and now Monacy.
Yeah. I think they're in a really difficult spot. I saw that interview, and I think it was really, like, odd to kind of see a figure of that, like, of his status coming out and saying some of the things he did. Not that it was necessarily wrong, but I just think he was being brutally honest, which a lot of people can, tend to hide behind things like that. But he wasn't afraid to say it. But I think G2 will be back. I mean, they're a long time, dominant force within esports, especially in Europe. I think, they have a lot of money that they can reinvest now through the sale of Monacy. In turmoil right now, but I do think that eventually they will be back.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to jump to you. I'm going to fire back at you, CJ.
Nice.
So a lawsuit from July of 2023 has recently resurfaced with some updates, and it is the video game addiction lawsuit. Beginning in Canada with a family accusing Epic Games of being being addictive in nature without presenting some warning. So I want to know your thoughts on this lawsuit and whose fault really is it?
Yeah, this is interesting. Looking at this, I was like, where are we placing blame here, right? Gaming is such a fun thing in our culture where it's like it's a recreational activity you can do for fun. And ultimately, you kind of see it, but the microtransactions do become a little bit of an addiction. So like, can we validate this? Is it warranted? And I think there is a level of supervision needed, especially when you put a credit card attached to a game. And that's an interesting thing where I've talked to parents before. They're like, hey, I uploaded my credit card on my kid's PlayStation account and didn't realize they could buy like a V-Bucks or CSGO cases or whatever it is. And so it's kind of gotten out of hand and gone crazy. But it is interesting that these parents are now trying to sue publishers. I think that is more of like, I would put the onus on parents to be like, hey, like, why'd you give your kid your credit card? Like, why don't you just put measures in control, as opposed to being like, oh, I'm going to try and get some money from the publishers to do this. It was odd. I don't agree with the lawsuit in nature. I don't think that's cool. I like being able to buy things in games. I think that's cool. I think we should be able to do it. But there are definitely maybe it's a warning sign or something like that should be in place, or some onus on parents to like understand that market before you give your kid your credit card. But an odd thing to see, and I don't really love it for the space in general. So
yeah, I'm the same way, and I wanted to comment back to you because with me being super young, I kind of felt like the same thing, and I didn't know if that was like correct to think, but I was like, for me, it's the blame gets on the parents. It's like, I mean, you're the one that's allowing necessarily your kid to do these things and like making it so available to them. It's not the publisher necessarily.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's still some shady things that these video game companies are doing. If we're being completely honest, like, for example, there's a shiny new thing, like a shiny skin in the store that costs 1,000 virtual currency, whatever it is.
sure.
But the only increment that you can purchase is 1,500. So now you have to spend extra money that you didn't want to spend because all you want is the shiny skin that you saw, but now you got extra points in, and it kind of like coerces you into spending more. Oh, well, now if you just buy a little bit more, you can get this other thing too. And it's like, it's kind of shady when you think about like how malleable and impressionable children are, because if your game is geared towards children, now they're asking, you know, mommy and daddy for their credit card. I don't know. I think that one thing that would be really good for games is to just buy precisely the amount of coins that you want to be able to purchase and nothing more. If they implement that change, I think it solves a lot of the problems.
It's interesting. Good POV. Love it. Nick, all of you have the last word if you wanted on it.
Oh, no, I think we totally actually missed the mark on the entire lawsuit. I think it was just about the, I guess, socioeconomic nature of video games and how a lot of people that play video games become more secluded and don't necessarily focus on schoolwork, et cetera,
Sure.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I think it was more that than because again, a lot of Fortnite just had a $50 billion lawsuit come through with having to give back V-Bucks and all that stuff. But I think this was just more the addictive nature of video games, pulling away from career advancements or whatever that case may be too. So it's just with anything that creates endorphins, I think there is some sort of addictive nature to it.
Yeah.
Whether that be working out, whether that be gambling, whether that be any sort of explicit entertainment as well. I think there's an addictive side to it with video games as well. So I'm not necessarily so sure how they're gonna.
Like, what do you like? What's the goal? You want them to make crappier games so people don't want to play them as much? Like,
I think they and again to what Davis was saying, I think it's just they want a warning of like,
hey, this is gonna make your brain tingle, buddy. You're gonna want to come back.
yeah, you're gonna want to play more video games.
I don't
Like,
know.
That
seems faded to me.
Yeah, agreed.
It faded, eh? I
Yeah.
like that.
Faded.
There is a level here where it's just like they just don't understand the gaming culture, and there are a lot of good things that happen with there. I'm not going to ignore there are some bad things that
Yeah.
can happen in the wrong environment for sure. I don't think you should play. If you try and get 1,000 hours in one video game in 1 month, like that's a lot, bro.
If you do anything,
How many hours?
if you do literally
Math, don't math.
anything too much, it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, totally.
Water, you need it to survive, but if you drink too much, you're gonna die.
And I think, I
Like,
think that's as
moderation.
much as we're all not a fan of this lawsuit. I think that's what they're trying to get to, for there to be support programs to help those that are addicted to video games, doing
is-
anything an unhealthy amount. And I think that's the root of this lawsuit. However, it's being perceived in multiple different ways, even amongst us.
Well, Nick, what I can say is I appreciate your insight, and I hope the viewers appreciate your insight as well. Ultimately, I think this conversation can go a little bit debatey at times, and I appreciate you guys having it in such a gentle way. And you're allowed to make your own decision at home. You don't have to give a rip of what we think. You know, ultimately, you as a parent get to make that decision on what your kids are going to be able to do and when they're going to be able to do it, and then go on from there. So. Fun discussion, fun day. Thanks for being on the show. It was
Great
great
day.
to queue up with you guys. I think we got some ranked points here today.
Yeah.
Okay, we're leveling up. We're trying to get to level 50.
We're almost out of bronze.
It's close. It's close.
You might be able to 1v1, and you might be able to 1v1. 67-year-old snipers and
automatic. Cool. Well, that's going to do it for us on Queued Up today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so Davis can get a stake and the game marathon in the future. We'll see you on the next episode coming up later this week. See you then.
Bye.
Peace.